Hello and welcome to the Spook It podcast. I'm Matt.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this is numero dos.
Woo!
Woo! I have to first say my apologies. I think we intended this to be weekly or like once every couple of days.
Oh.
But apparently life does not revolve around a podcast people want to do.
Plans and such.
So we've pretty much come to the conclusion that we may make this a bi-weekly, a twice monthly, whatever you want to call it. So every 2 weeks we'll have a new episode up. I think it'll just be easier. 'Cause you're busy. We have these weird schedules where if I'm available, she's working. If you're available, I'm working.
This whole crazy thing.
Yeah. So and this gives us more time to kind of prepare, which you won't be able to tell in this episode because we're not good at preparing.
We will get this podcast thing down.
Yeah, we'll get it down. Someday.
But thank you for hanging in.
Yeah. One more time. We'll see how it goes.
Woo!
Woo! So what's happened this past Halloween.
Halloween happened.
I think the episode came up November 1st.
Yes.
So not quite in time for Halloween, but that's okay.
Straddled it.
I guess. How was your Halloween?
Very enjoyable. Really kind of disappointed in how quick Christmas is barging in on life.
Yeah.
They had everything for sale for Halloween. 50% off, like 4 days before. It was ridiculous.
Right. Well, I mean, good for us.
I know, but
we're the kind of people who pretty much buy our home decor around Halloween.
Yeah.
So we still have our little black wreath and our little skeleton up
everything
on the door.
But still, it's sad. I wish more people would enjoy it.
Yeah.
But a lot more kids than last year. Very fun.
Yeah, we had some trick-or-treaters. We went to some friends' houses and sat outside with a bonfire. Had some kids come over and gave them candy, and we ate candy and just candy.
It was
Halloween.
good.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully next year will be a little better, but we'll see.
Well, we're going to be in Salem next year.
So that's right. That's right. Well, if this podcast is still going, then we're going to be losing a few episodes.
Yeah.
Because we'll be in Salem.
Woo! I'm so excited about that. Anyways, I hear you have some spooky news. Yeah, I have a couple of just some interesting things. So there is a haunted house in Villisca, Iowa. It is the Villisca Axe Murder House. I guess the 6 children were murdered in it June 10th, 1912. So someone owns this house right now, and a paranormal investigator stabbed himself in the chest while spending the night at a haunted Iowa house made infamous for an unsolved axe murder 100 years ago that left 8 people, including 6 children, dead.
It wasn't that Zach guy, was it?
No, it wasn't that. I thought they mentioned him in here. No, it wasn't him, unfortunately. Just some other guy. They should probably have a TV show instead. Stephen Larson Jr. ended his visit to the Villisca Axe Murder House in southwest Iowa early Friday with critical stabbing injuries that the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office say were self-inflicted. He's 37 years old, visiting from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. But yeah, he was just in a room and I guess he stabbed himself. So the people that own the house are kind of worried that it's going to put a bad reputation on it.
Isn't there a big... I'm looking... Oh, wait. Is that... I can't imagine that's their sign. I'm looking at a sign outside of the house that says the...
Yeah, that's what they put up. Like, they allow people to come in and out and tour it and stuff. But they think it's going to give it a bad reputation.
Oh, a guy stabbing himself in the house. Yeah.
Besides, the whole axe murder thing that happened.
Well, I mean, you can't...
I guess so.
I would stay there, probably.
Oh, I would too. I don't care if some guy stabbed himself.
A little OxyClean.
But yeah, so that was just very interesting. You always want to... I mean, if he was doing it for the story, you think he would axe himself or something.
What?
Not stab, right?
Oh.
If it's an axe murder house?
Yeah.
Do something with an axe instead?
I can see your train of thought.
Yeah, just like if he's going to be in the hospital saying...
I'm an axe, I stabbed myself.
Something did it to me, something did it to me.
Well, I mean, it would have been goofier if he, like, took, like a golf club in the axe murder house. I'm getting nothing. Moving on. So, Travelocity, make sure you're not in an axe murder house. That's the moral of that story.
I think they have a drop-down button for that.
Oh, for Travelocity?
Yeah, you like
for
check
murder houses?
You check the button. It says like murder house, non-murder house.
It's probably pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
Are there any haunted houses around here?
No.
Oh.
No, more or less just like the courthouse and stuff like that. You know, town stuff. I've never heard of anything that's supposed to be haunted.
No, nothing. Do you have any cool legends around here? That's a segue. Because this episode's about urban legends.
Urban legend? No, probably not that I know about around
Skunk
here.
Man?
Yeah, Skunk Ape, but that would be down the Everglades.
So there's no local.
I don't think there's anything local. The closest thing is probably there's a corner on I-75 where just tons and tons and tons of blown tires and accidents happen. I mean, it's a straight piece of road. It's not anything crazy.
I think I've heard of that.
And then it's just non-stop. That's exactly where people just head off the road and tires blow. And
so it's just a jerk, like a dead
it's
mechanic.
Crazy. It is. It's just in a very... It's not coming around a corner or anything. So that's what I remember most when I think of, like, local ones. And I think we have one of those hills around here in Florida where you put like the baby powder on the back of the bus and kids
like
push
the
it.
train track thing.
Yeah, but it's one of those like
I'm sure it's been solved.
It's the natural land thing.
Oh.
It looks like you're looking at a flat piece of land, but it's actually tilted just so that when you put the car in neutral,
you like roll backwards.
You roll, front or back. I think we have one of those around Florida somewhere.
Well, anyway, I have some urban legends here for you. Ooh. And, can you define an urban legend? Or what? In your words, what is an urban legend?
To me, it is a story over time that has... the origins of it have been lost. It could be true, it could be false, but it is a story that has been carried on over time.
So pretty much just one of those...
handed down generation to generation. And,
yeah.
It's used for a warning, it's used as... teachings, it's used as anything.
I guess I agree. And that's pretty much what I've found, is it's just one of those, it's folklore that has just kind of been passed on. No one really knows the origin. It's those sort of friend of a friend stories that have been just generated. Yes. And they just kind of grow and grow as it goes on. Apparently, it was first used in 1981. A guy was describing a book series, and it's this mix-up. I guess he was trying to mix up legends, folklore, but in a modern sense. Mm-hmm. So it's like unlike, I guess, a lot of folklore, it has a plot, there's characters, you always sort of have the same story arc, but it's a folkish story.
Yeah. Well, it like involves the people of the time. You've got the teenagers.
Yeah, and we see actually a lot of the ones I was looking up, it's always people about to have sex, going to have sex, young girls doing something dumb.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these are pretty much used,
kind of things.
If your friend Susie's gonna go out to some party, like, I heard from so and so that if you do that, it'll, this is sort of like goofy stories.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 different urban legends. I think they're all fairly well known. So here's the first one, and this one is called "Aren't You Glad You Didn't Turn On the Light?" Now we've both heard of this before, like in different ways. And so this might have been told to you differently. Let us know. So here we go. Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light? 2 dormmates in college were in the same science class. The teacher had just reminded them about the midterm the next day when one dormmate, let's call her Julie, got asked to this big bash by the hottest guy in school.
Oh, go Julie.
Way to go, Julie. The other dormmate, Meg, had pretty much no interest in going, and being a diligent student, she took notes on what the midterm was about. So we've already got sort of the two archetypes, the one good, one bad.
You've got like
you know something has
polar opposites there.
After the entire period of flirting with her date, Julie was totally unprepared for her test, while Meg was completely prepared for a major study date with her books.
This sounds like it was like one of the original writings of it. Like, what, Julie? You fucked up. Meg, here's a cookie. Like,
I don't know. It could wind up wrong. I don't know. This could be... I did not read ahead.
I think Meg's gonna kill Julie just because she's sick of her shit.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Let's find out. At the end of the day, Julie spent hours getting ready for the party while Meg started studying. Julie tried to get Meg to go, but she was insistent that she would just study and pass the test. The girls were rather close, and Julie didn't like leaving Meg alone to be bored while she was out having a blast. Julie finally gave up, using the excuse that she would cram in homeroom the next day. So here we go, still getting ready for this dumb party. Let's find out. Julie went to the party and had the time of her life with her date. She headed back to the dorm around 2 a.m.
That's not a party.
Not for college, anyway.
No, are you kidding?
Well,
she went home?
Yeah, if she was good enough to... No, this isn't good. If you're in school, be home by 2 a.m.
Unless it's a really wicked, awesome party.
Unless it's really cool.
A super hot guy.
Well, let's see what happens there.
Don't be Julie. Just
don't be a Julie. Be a Meg.
Yeah.
So she gets home at 2, decides not to wake up Meg. She went to bed nervous about the midterm and decided she would wake up early to ask Meg for help. She woke up. Oh, good. All right, so there she is. She's woken up and went to wake Meg. Blech. Meg was lying on her stomach, apparently sound asleep. Julie rolled Meg over to reveal Meg's terrified face. Julie, concerned, turned on the desk lamp. Meg's study stuff was still open and had blood all over it. Meg had been slaughtered. Julie, in horror, fell to the floor and looked up to see written on the walls in Meg's blood, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights?"
They skipped a part in this.
I remember it being differently, and perhaps I should have checked other things.
They completely skipped an entire part.
So then how do you... what's your story?
In between, I get where this is going, but I mean, I know this story. With her, she goes to the party, time of her life, and then she gets home. Well, in between her getting home and going to bed, she gets home and she probably hears Meg, whatever, doing something.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I guess studying, like, a banshee or something, if there's noise. And
yeah, I remember the story being that she was on her bed, like, making a noise or doing something.
Usually it's the opposite of this. Meg would have went out to study.
That's actually why I'm kind of surprised.
Julie would have been back at the dorm with her boyfriend. Meg would have walked in, heard moaning.
Oh, that's it. Meg. I think the story would be Meg would go to the library to study.
Yes,
Julie would stay in,
and she would hear. Love. She would like go to turn on the light, and you would hear the
Yeah,
and she would think that they're having like sexual intercourse.
Probably unprotected.
Oh my goodness. And, she would say, "Oh, sorry. Keep the light off. Go to bed." And then in the morning, it was because she was, he had the hand over her mouth or whatever. So they totally skipped a part in this.
Maybe we should we should check our stories before
Shame on you, interweb.
But shame on you, urbanlegends.about.com.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Tisk.
Actually, I kind of like just finding these random stories because
they're
kind of different. All right, so if you came home, you're a young girl in college.
Mm-hmm.
You come to your dorm.
I'm feeling it.
You're hearing these mumble gurgle sounds from your friend's bed. Mm-hmm. Do you turn on the light?
Yes. Just be a bitch.
Just to be
yes.
I would
to be a bad person.
I feel I would too, but only because I really don't like tripping on things.
I would find it funny. So
that's true.
I'm right there. I'm at a win-win situation. It's either funny and it's like, Meg, or whatever.
Julie.
Or I turn on the light and it's like, what is happening in here?
Hello, someone's being murdered.
That kind of thing. So
that's when you just do the whole, like, wrong room.
It's win-win. Then you turn off the lights so he can't see anything, and you, like, run. So.
Perfect.
Yep, I've got it all planned out.
Okay.
I'm waiting for this to happen.
If we don't have another podcast in the next 2 weeks, I'm probably dead.
Yeah.
Or have been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to move away from something too scary. The next ones I have are not spooky. I don't think anybody dies. But these are two I've actually heard of.
Okay.
So, and I think you've heard of one, maybe not the other, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know what an earwig is, right?
Yeah, but it's one of those things that I never thought existed. I never knew they were like a real thing.
Really?
Yes.
If you don't know, like we find them down here in Florida pretty often. I think I do outside. They're little beetles, but on the back they have these little pincher things.
Okay.
And I always thought they could pinch you. I mean, they don't really.
Okay.
But they're earwigs.
Yeah.
And for the longest time I thought, and I found this story in a book. I actually have a book. That's me going through pages. And I did think they were called that because they would crawl into your ear. Which is kind of what the story is about.
Yeah. That's why that's all. I thought that's what they did. That was the only thing they
But
did.
to be honest, the idea of any bug going in the ear. I remember Wrath of Khan, Star Trek, the second movie, Wrath of Khan. Khan. Well, that's what he does. Khan puts bugs, these space bugs into their ears. Anyway, apparently the origins of this story were traced back to England about year 1000. I don't think they had earwigs back there, but I imagine the story's the same.
It probably just bugs to them.
Just bugs.
Dinner.
Oi. Oh, no, I'm just
Oi.
Anyway.
Dinner.
Here we go. While a woman was sleeping on the beach in California, a tiny earwig climbed into her ear and burrowed forward. Several days later, the woman went to her doctor complaining of a terrible earache. After peering into her ear, the doctor sat back. "I can't see anything," he said. "Let's see what an X-ray can tell us." When the film came back, the doctor sat down with his patient and her husband in his office. Dun dun dun. "Now I want you to stay calm. An earwig is burrowing through your ear canal."
Here's the terrible news right now, as quick as possible.
There we go. So remember, folks, stay calm. We can't get to it. The only thing we can do is to wait a couple weeks until it makes its way clear through your skull. It will climb out of your other ear and you'll be fine.
I'm a doctor.
This must be the same doctor from the first story we did.
Yeah.
In Korea.
Yeah.
Of course, when the woman heard this news, she was not fine.
Mm-mm.
She became hysterical.
Yeah.
It took her husband and 3 nurses to hold her down just so the doctor could give her a tranquilizer. You women and your hysteria.
Well, I mean, we can't handle a lot of things.
Yeah, well, anyway. "We'll hospitalize her and keep her heavily medicated for the next couple of weeks," the doctor said to the husband.
Enjoy your vacation.
Yeah. That should help her get through this. Sure enough, about 2 weeks later, the earwig crawled out of the woman's ear. The husband was at his wife's bedside when the tiny creature appeared. He grabbed it and put it in an empty water bottle, because that's what you do with bugs. The next day, the couple, with the earwig in the bottle, sat down with the doctor for a final examination. "Let's get another set of x-rays," the doctor said. It took a little longer for the film to return this time. When the x-rays had finally arrived, the woman, her husband, and the doctor all assembled in the office once more. I wonder if you can hear that. We have a guinea pig.
Yeah,
and he is having the time of his life.
He really is. I cleaned his thing today. He just can't even handle.
So if you hear rustling, that's not us. Well, anyway, "I'm afraid I have to modify my diagnosis," the doctor says. "I've examined the earwig and the x-rays." He took a deep breath. "This was a female. It must have been pregnant when it crawled into your ear canal. It's laid its eggs in your skull. When
Thanks,
the eggs
doctor.
hatch, the young earwigs will devour your brain." Dun dun dun.
Wow. He is a doctor as much as Dr. Dre is a doctor.
Or Dr. Pepper.
I would go to Dr. Pepper.
I never watched. I was more of a Twilight Zone guy, even though it's older than Night Gallery.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
I've heard of Night Gallery, but I never watched
But
it.
apparently this was in an episode of Night Gallery, which is interesting. Not that I have nothing against Night Gallery. I just don't recall that episode. So, but I mean, I think we've seen plenty of movies and stuff where bugs are put into people's ears.
Yeah.
Like
it's a threat. I remember it being a threat in I'm thinking of Animorphs. Isn't that what they did?
Oh yeah.
In Animorphs, they held a slug over the ear or something.
Wow, that's true.
Right?
What were they called?
I can't remember.
I keep wanting to call them Yeerks. The V'ger. That's not it.
I can't remember.
V'ger is from the first Star Trek movie.
Wow.
It is Voyager.
Sorry, everyone.
I have not even watched Star Trek.
We're gonna refund.
Are we looking for that? Well, here we go. I'm gonna go to the next
your
one.
Money.
Yeerks.
Yeah. They're called Yeerks, but something's called Andalites.
The Andalites are the centaur guys.
Okay, yeah. So Yeerks are the actual like slugs that take humans as a host by entering and merging with their brain through the ear canal.
Almost another story.
That is like exactly. That's so funny.
Huh. We're full of
very
dumb
cool
references.
All right. Anyways,
it's making noise like that. It must be the cat. So here's the next one, and I remember this. We used to go to a roller skating rink when I was a kid. Did you do that? Go to a roller skating rink?
Yes, skate reflections.
Skate reflections. And I remember going on a field trip, and my mother telling me, "Don't look for change, or anytime we're out, don't look for change in a payphone."
Oh yes, because there's needles or something.
There's needles in their payphone, and I can't imagine that just happens here. That probably happens everywhere.
No,
I bet that story is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's an urban legend, so but I remember being scared to actually look for change.
It's the same thing now with gas stations. They say to check the handles because when they squeeze them, there could be needles in there.
I think that was back when they became when it was really expensive. Didn't that start coming around?
Probably more or less. Maybe Hurricane Charlie time when everyone was freaking out about gas.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
But here is a story about a needle in a payphone. Here we go. A young woman stopped to use a payphone in New York City's East Village. When she completed her call, she stuck her index finger into the coin return slot to check if a previous caller had left some change behind. Which you do.
Yeah.
Soap machines, soda machines, anything with a coin return.
That stuff still scares me. I try and look in it first.
Oh really?
Yeah. I don't it might be something like frogs or something within there.
We'll go over frogs later.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but instead of finding a coin, she felt a sharp pain in her finger. She yanked her finger out. It was bleeding. She looked inside the coin return and saw a hypodermic needle jammed inside. "Damn New Yorkers," she said. "I hate this town."
Yeah.
I've never been to New York.
No, me neither.
I've been to New York the state, but not the city. She wiped off the blood with a tissue and went about her business. Now, I have to say, I don't think I would go about my business if I break myself with a hypodermic needle.
It doesn't matter if it's now or 60 years ago. How do you not think? I don't know. I just don't understand. It's a needle. How would you not be
We would not be good in any sort of story. A couple weeks later, the young woman felt ill and went to her doctor. As part of the examination, her doctor drew some blood and sent it to the lab. 2 doctors in these stories. 2 stories about doctors.
We are obsessed with doctors.
I love doctors.
But love it.
"I'll call you with the results tomorrow," he said. First thing the next morning, the young woman got a call from her doctor asking her to come by his office so they could review the test results. He invited her into his private office and closed the door. Ooh. As he sat down in the chair beside her, he said, "I'll have to ask you some personal questions. Do you practice safe sex?" "Of course. Why do you ask?" I don't know why I'm doing this.
My vibrator's not alive.
Have you ever been an intravenous drug user? "No, never. What are you saying?" "Just one last question. Have you used a payphone recently?" "Yes."
I don't see why that would be the first thing. I can't imagine how this happens.
That's just in my document. Safe sex, check. No drugs.
Okay, check.
Payphones.
Oh, those darn payphones.
They're so dirty.
Oh.
Yes, a couple weeks ago. I remember because someone had put a needle in the coin slot, and I pricked my finger on it when I checked for change.
I'm still not understanding the link between all these things together.
The doctor was silent for a moment.
You dumb.
We've learned recently that some drug users are disposing of their used needles in payphones. Most likely their motive is revenge for becoming infected with hepatitis or some other disease. Are you telling me that needle gave me hepatitis? No, the doctor said. I'm afraid that needle infected you with HIV. Okay. I kind of want to see when this started. I wonder if this story became popular when there was that. I feel it was in New York. Wasn't there like a huge like kind of epidemic of
New York is an epidemic.
We might have some listeners in New York.
I'm sorry.
I apologize.
That you live in.
Please let me know though if this is true, because I heard there was a real issue with like HIV and like AIDS and stuff. Like that was real.
I just feel like all these urban legend stuff leads you up to first of all, never trust any doctor ever.
Don't go to a doctor. Well, go to a doctor.
Never go to a doctor.
Wait, so what if you have a bug in your ear?
Yeah, and then he just didn't even. No, think about it a little bit. Look it up on the interwebs now.
Sure.
It's all setting up to different things. Like with this, I feel like it could be when AIDS was becoming a huge issue.
Right, and that's what
that kind of thing. It also, to me, could be the starts or the area of when in-home telephones were becoming. Is that a thing?
So you thought this was made up back when? Oh, I know. I see what you're saying.
Where it would be like dangerous to go use a payphone.
So you think the story was started so people would buy like their own phones? Oh,
do you see that? Because it's like weird stuff. Like urban legends come like weird things in those stories. Like it's a small thing that'll pick up the biggest thing.
Right.
Little things like the reasonings behind not picking up a hitchhiker. And all of us know that.
It's like Coke will rot your teeth and can melt a nail.
Yes.
I think that's actually another story I was looking at.
Just things really like that. It's little things. So it could be something about the boom in telephones. It could be something about when AIDS was becoming a huge issue. Things like that. And then I'm sure because a lot of these, I don't know why, end up being some kind of gang initiation. They really do.
You think that was
a lot of them have a gang initiation kind of thing. I've heard it through the backseat driver one, where there's someone in the backseat of the car because they
were part of the gang and they were
and the flashing the lights. It's weird. Urban legends are so interesting.
Now, okay, so you bring this up. This is not a story I had planned. I remember this. A couple years ago, it was said there were gang members going around with their lights off.
Yes, and then
if you flashed them, they would have to
turn
Isn't
around
that an urban legend?
Yes, it is. It's one of those things that everyone has told you not to flash someone back when they flash you. The flash is supposed to be some kind of signal from one car to another, but there is no reason for you to respond. When someone responded, it is said that the original person that flashed their lights would do a U-turn, chase that person down to either their home or somewhere quiet, and whatever the gang initiation was, whether it be murder, beating them, and things like that. I don't care.
I've done that only to tell someone to go.
Yes.
Which might not be safe.
Nah, well, get to getting.
Speaking of getting to getting, and I think that's pretty much all I have. I don't have any.
The last thing I would say about this Urban Legends episode is go watch Urban Legends. That is a magical movie.
I know I've seen it, and I could not tell you a single thing that happens in
You're a horrible person.
I know there's a hook guy in it.
You're an awful person.
That's about it. The guy falls on a car, I think.
Thanks for joining this podcast.
Hey guys, I do want to take a moment and say thank you so much for listening to the second episode of the Spook podcast.
Yes, tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah, it means a lot to me, and I'm sure Caitlin that you listen. This is something fun that we get to do when we can. It seems
whatever we damn well please.
Well, no, I want
break into their homes and tell them.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment on Podomatic or on iTunes. We're on iTunes now.
Woohoo!
Just search for Spook It Podcast.
like adults.
Mm-hmm. Leave a review, whatever kind of review.
Reviews always help.
Good or bad, yes. Please let us know, because we can then make this better for you. You can also email us at spookitpodcast@gmail.com if that's easier. Again, if you have any suggestions or
stories,
do whatever. If you write stories,
please
write one
do.
in.
Yeah,
we will
send
give you
us
props
stories.
and send you. Yeah, we'll read it.
Yes.
What else? We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/spookitpodcast.
Yep.
But I think it's about that.
I think that's it. What do we have? Do you know what we're doing next time? Which will be in a couple weeks. It will be about 2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks we should have. I think we're doing scary stories from our childhood.
Okay, great, cool.
So I know we've mentioned Haley Poe. Yes. That will definitely be one.
So if you have any scary stories from your childhood that you remember either being told or a book, please write us, comment, whatever, and let us know what scary stories from your childhood haunted your dreams.
Yeah, we'll definitely mention you. You know, this is made for us, but it's also
and we'll talk about it.
We like you guys.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's it.
Yes, it is.
I hear the music coming in. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Until next time. I don't have anything. We should really work on it.
No, we need to come up with a closer.
This is it. I think
this is our closer.
Okay. Bye.